have with us Mr. Praveer Sinha, the Chief Executive Officer of Tata Power. Thank you so much for joining us. Being the largest private power supplier in India, there must be some particular expectation from the union budget.
We have seen in last 22 years, since the reforms started in the power sector in 1992, that there has been tremendous amount of emphasis on generation side. New projects, whether it is coal-based or gas-based or even hydro projects. There are a lot of initiatives which have also been in last couple of years taken on renewable. But one of the biggest challenge which has been there in the power sector is the distribution reforms or the lack of them. And today all the state discoms, leave alone few of them, are in red. And this is in spite of the fact that huge amount of subsidy is being given. So one is a large amount of subsidy goes, and then also these discoms are in red and are losing tremendous amount of money. So it is time that these discoms went through the process of reform, are run on commercial basis, because every time they pile up a huge deficit of losses or deficit of cash with them, the government comes out with a bailout package. And until unless the discoms reform, they are in a position to pay, they will never be in a position to buy additional power and supply. So if we really want 24/7 power to the consumers and consumers in all parts of the country, then the distribution reforms needs to be taken care very quickly.
How soon can we expect the power cut situation in Delhi to be better, and what do you think is the reasons of the problem that we are facing right now?
First of all, in Delhi, I think the reforms that have taken place in last 12 years have yielded phenomenal results. And I would like to tell you, especially in our area, in last 12 years, the number of consumers have doubled, the supply of power has doubled, and the service that we provide to the consumers is phenomenally good. It is, I would say, as good as anywhere else in the world. So in our area, there is no load shedding, there is no power cut, and we supply 24/7 power to all our consumers, and that includes consumers who stay in JJ colonies, consumers who are industrial consumers, domestic consumers, commercial consumers. Okay. So to that extent, I think we have done fantastic work. And I don't think there are many examples in the world of the type of transformation. From a loss of 53.1% when we took in 2002, today our losses are in the range of 10.5%. And I think this sort of transformation has not happened in many parts of the world. And as far as the issue about general in Delhi is concerned, there also, I think, a phenomenal amount of work has taken place. Yes, there have been certain gaps, and I'm sure the people who are looking after those areas, whether it is in transmission or in distribution in other parts of Delhi, they are sensitized to it and they will take initiatives to overcome them.
Tata Power has gone ahead with a joint venture with Damodar Valley, with Power Grid, and also with Sananji, the Australian solar firm. So if you could tell us more about it.
We are looking at providing certain services from Tata Power Distribution in the country as well as outside the country. Typically, we are looking at providing consultancy services to other state discoms in India, and we are already doing that. We are also providing these sort of services to many countries abroad. We've already got an order from Nigeria, and we would be shortly taking up work in Central Asia and parts of in Turkey and other parts of the world. So as a distribution company, the knowledge that we have, the domain experience that we have, we will try to use it and share it with the other discoms in the world and take them through the reform process as necessary.
What do you think the government should do for solar energy and tapping it to the grid?
Well, there is a huge potential on that, and only last week we signed agreement with USTDA, whereby USTDA will give us nearly $450,000 for carrying out a study on how rooftop solar can be utilized and maximized in a urban environment, especially in the North Delhi that we are looking at. We are basically looking at two components of solar energy. One is the technology part of it and what should be the network architecture in terms of microgrids, net metering, and the associated infrastructure that needs to be created. On the other side, we also need to come up with policy issues so that it provides comfort to individuals who put up on their roof these rooftop solar units, in terms of what sort of capital subsidy needs to be provided to them, what sort of feed-in tariff needs to be given to them, what sort of payment security needs to be given to them, so that they can make the right investment and get a return on that, whereby they not only get power but also get certain return on that. And I think if we start using this, to a large extent our load center requirement of power can be met locally. We don't have to then bring power from thousands of kilometers away, but it can meet our local requirements. So to that extent, this is a very, very interesting thing, which, and fortunately in our country with more than 300 days of sunlight, there is a tremendous opportunity. How do we tap this opportunity? How do we optimize it? How do we finance this? Are issues that we need to address very strongly. And I am sure the new government will take the right initiatives and will give the right push for using solar power in large way in the country.
Delhi government had announced subsidy for solar power plants. However, the scheme did not work. What do you think was the reason of its failure?
Delhi government did not announce the subsidy for solar. They still have to actually come out with their solar policy, as also the regulatory commission has to come with the regulations for solar power. And hopefully in this year we expect with the type of discussions that is going on, both at the government level and at the regulatory commission level and at the other stakeholders level, we should see a policy and we should see a regulation in place, which will also, the policy will possibly include certain subsidy component. So hopefully as we move forward, these will be happy days for solar energy.
How do you think infrastructure development is possible without compromising environment?
Well, today the emphasis which is there on renewable power, I think we can have development along with the renewable power, and especially when the cost of renewable power has come down. There was a time when we used to get solar power at about 10 to 15 rupees. Today it has come down to 8 to 10 rupees, and I am told that the new projects which people have bid for, they are talking about 6 rupees. So which is the cost at which you get conventional power from coal-based and gas-based plant. So it's matter of time with the advancement of technology that is there. There will be more and more of renewable energy that will be utilized, and we would then see the development taking place at a much faster pace without compromising on environment. So I hope the concerns that people have about environment and development keeping pace will be set aside, and we will have both development and renewable power taking place simultaneously.
Anything else that you would like to add?
I basically wanted to cover two issues. One was the distribution reforms, which is necessary, because until unless the reforms takes place and the financial health of the DISCOM does not improve, they will never buy power and supply to the consumer. And the second is cost of power. So they need to address that, and that means they need to have the coal regulator, they need to have the gas regulator, and those are things that
regulation needs to be in place.
Yeah, regulation has to be in place.
All right, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Sapna.